Right, 30 December 2025, and today I'm excited to be giving you the afternoon update. And normally when I come here, I give you some of the more analytical things that are happening and more of the breaking news. So this morning, I promised that I was going to provide you with an update on a very important report, which is the report of Mutare City. So Mutare City, that is the Mutare Eastern Gateway of Zimbabwe, one of the most beautiful cities in Zimbabwe, with beautiful roads, but obviously not growing. The Mutare City is not growing, and the reason is now clear. So I have looked deeply into the report of Mutare City, and if you go to gambakwe.com, you are going to see that I have put my opinions on there, so you can be reading along as I speak. On gambakwe.com, we've explained why Mutare City has received a qualified report from the Auditor General of Zimbabwe. So this is very bad. Mutare City is in a crisis. It's in what is called a liquidity crisis. There is a massive shortage of money at Mutare City. They currently have very little, I think 82 million ZiG or something small like that. And they have received a qualified opinion from the Auditor General for 3 reasons. So if you will allow me, I'll share with you the report so that you can see. So Mutare City has received a qualified opinion from the Auditor General of Zimbabwe, and the reasons are set out as follows. So let's go to the actual document. So if you look at the document, you see that the Auditor General's opinion on the City of Mutare's 2024 consolidated financial statement is a qualified opinion. I have audited the accompanying consolidated financial statements of the City of Mutare and its subsidiary, the group, is set out on page 6 to 14, which comprise the consolidated statement of the financial position as of 31 December 2024, and the consolidated statements of financial performance, consolidated statement of changes in net assets, and consolidated statement of cash flows for the year in the ended, and consolidated notes of financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In my opinion, except for the effects of matters described in the basis for qualified opinion section of my report, the accompanying consolidated financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position of City of Mutare as of 31 December 2024 and of its consolidated financial performance and its consolidated cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Public Sector Accounting Standard IPSASS. So this is the basics for the qualification. Non-compliance with International Public Sector Accounting Standards IPSAS 45 property, plant and equipment. So I'll unpack this later for you, and then let's see the other reasons. Non-compliance with International Public Sector Accounting Standards revenue. So the group failed to recognize beer levy revenue amounting to 0.1825 million on cash basis, contrary to standard IPSAS 47. Non-compliance with International Public Sector Standards 16 investment property. The group did not disclose the fair value of its investment property. This was contrary to the standard. So what is happening here in short is that the accounting of Mutare is in shambles. So take, for example, the group did not carry out an assessment of the residual values and useful lives of its property. In short, the City of Mutare does not know what is going on. So the accounting at the City of Mutare is in shambles. It's a total mess. And on top of that, they're out of money. So they've run out of money. If you go to Gambakwe, you'll see that we've summarized how much money they have. And they've got very little money. We also have a serious problem at Mutare City. So take, for example, women are not going to deliver at the hospital, at the council clinics, because they've increased the price too much. It's now too high, and they're not marketing. So it means Mutare City Council Mutare city is disconnected to the residents of Mutare. So if you drive through Mutare, you'll be happy to say the city looks nice, the roads are nice, but these are the important things that are causing problems in the state of Mutare. So let's look at the income. The total revenue from Mutare in 2024 was 3.15 billion ZiG. Their expenses was 7.76 billion ZiG, which means they had a loss of 4.21 billion ZiG. Now, how much they lost? This is how much they lost. And then in terms of land, they are sitting on land worth 42 billion ZiG when they only have liabilities of 291 million ZiG. So they don't have debt, but they are using so much money. I don't know where they're getting the money. So there's a disconnect between the debt and how much they're using. So something is not right in the financials, which is what the Auditor General picked up. How can you use your revenue be 3 billion and you use 7 billion and then you don't have debt? So something is not correct in the accounting of Mutare. And then net cash flow from operations is 6.94 billion ZiG. This was a major concern. So it means they are burning through every cent that they get. So now that explains why they don't have any debt. Any cent that they get, they immediately put it to use. And it's not clear how this is happening. Then the city's revenue has dropped from 2023 to 2024. So you can go and check out the city of Mutare has got very little money in their bank. I think they've got ZiG 18 million. What is the biggest problems at Mutare? The biggest problem at Mutare is lack of growth. So there's no growth in the city. They are not building new things. They are not attracting investors. And it's clear from these financial statements what's happening. And then on top of that, they are mismanaging. They're mismanaging the council. The accounting are poorly done. So there's something called non-revenue water. When we talk of non-revenue water, it's water that leaks out. So they purify water. By the time they say how much water did we give to the people, they've lost 64% of the water. So for every 100 liters that Mutare makes and treats, 64 liters are lost, which means people are not paying bills. There's some bosses right there who are not paying water. They're just using water for free. Or there are people, maybe government departments or whatever, who are not paying. Something's not right with the water. Housing backlog at Mutare is sitting at 29,000 applicants. Look at Mutare. What exactly are they doing? If you don't provide stands, what are you doing? You've got 29,000 people in a waiting list. Why? Why do you have 29,000 when you only have 1,400 stands? So Mutare City has only got 1,400 stands. Then I talked about hospital birth. Hospital birth. 90% of the people who gave birth at hospital in 2023 have stopped. So there was a decline of 90%. So let me give it that way. People are no longer going to the hospitals or to the clinics because it's too expensive. So what is the point? The pricing is wrong. And then in terms of streets, the Mutare city has got the darkest streets ever. Only 58 tower lights are working. And 1,200 or half of the street lights are operational. So they've got 78 tower lights in Mutare. Only 58 are working. What is so difficult about putting a solar panel on a tower light? And then in terms of the street lights, only half of them are working. 1,200 out of 2,016. And then the efficiency gap, the collection is only 61%. That is where we're standing. You can go and check out all this at gambakwe.com. We've put out all this stuff for you. What is my point? We've got mismanagement at Mutare, but Mutare is not as bad as the other cities. So Mutare is one of the cities that I actually like, because when you drive there, they don't have as many potholes. They clean their roads. It's a tourist city, so we expect it to look nice. They need to fix the qualified opinions. These are easy to fix. So now that we're going to 2026, we're going to get the 2025 report. Mutare City is one of the few cities that are actually producing a report. Most of these cities don't produce a report. So what we want Mutare to do to become a better city is to deal with the issues that were raised by the Auditor General. That is, in terms of reporting properly, follow the international standard. How do you employ someone who doesn't know how to do financial statements? So you need to make sure that we know how to do our financial statements. So the executive of Mutare, let me see what they look like right now. So these are the executives of Mutare, right? So we've got people here at the top. We've got the town clerk, Mr. Kapuya, Blessing Chafesuka. We've got Director of Engineering, Maxwell Kenneth, Acting Finance Director, Ruben Guni, and Acting Health Services Director, Eunice Muyamboki. So among these people, the town clerk, Blessing Chafesuka, and then the Acting Finance Director, Ruben Guni, and Acting Health Services Director, Eunice Muyamboki. These are the people that need to deal with the financial issues. So at the moment, they need to set the proper price for clinics so that women can go to clinics. And then Ruben Guni, I don't know if he is a qualified accountant. He needs to make sure that he addresses the issues raised by the Auditor General. You cannot just have a statement that does not follow international standards. So that is Mr. Guni here. He needs to deal with the financial statements, and they need to employ a financial person, a qualified financial person. If Guni can't do it, they need to do it properly. And then with the technical services director over here, they need to sort out the lights. They need to sort out the street lights. They need to make sure that everything is working. This is very simple to fix. And these guys just need to know that they are accountable to the residents. And then when looking at the mayor, I want to see who is the mayor of Mutare here, because this report comes from the mayor. The mayor, I don't know if he read this report. So the way they've done this report, if you go into the Herald newspaper, you see that is the way they put the report. It's so tiny. You actually have to spend hours looking at it to understand what's going on. So let's look at the mayor. The mayor is Mr. Councillor S. Chabuka. That is the mayor. And then we've got a whole bunch of people over here. So let me show you who else is there in Mutare. So we've got a whole bunch of people. So these are the people who are inside of the council. We've got the council's responsibility statement, all these things. So Mutare is doing a good job. They are producing the report. They are publishing it. They're not hiding the report. So the town clerk here is doing a good job. So town clerk is Chafesuka, is doing a good job. I like these guys from Mutare, but they need to fix the issues raised by the Auditor General. You can't just have such amateurish mistakes, like not following the standard. You can't have that in a professional city like Mutare. You need to sit down and have a resolution or a plan for addressing what has been raised. Then they need to connect with the residents of Mutare. So right now as you speak, there's a disconnect between council and the residents. There's a big disconnect. The strategy of council says Vision 2030. It says AI. But what I can see here is that it's not there. They need to do more. So particularly issues like street lighting, residential stands, and so forth. If you put residential stands, it's more revenue. So why are you not putting the 29,000 stands? You are sitting on 42 billion worth of land. Why don't you have the land? What is stopping Mutare City Council from servicing the stands? So these are the issues that are being raised by the report. But I like the fact that they actually produce a report, and Mutare City Council very transparent. I like this council. Also, when you drive around Mutare, especially in the areas where tourists travel, it's looking neat. We like it to be kept that way, but we need more. We need Mutare City Council to grow. So those 29,000 people on the waiting list, they are money for the council. The council must make sure that there is money that comes out from these people. Stop the leakages. Technical Services Director, that is your job. Why is water leaking to the point where 64% of the water that is produced by Mutare is lost into leakages? That makes no sense. So I think that is the summary of everything. I hope that you have understood the financial report of Mutare. They've received a qualified or a report from errors made on the financial statement. So there are 3 errors made on the financial statements of Mutare. That is, the Auditor General noted that the city didn't check the useful lives of the infrastructure, roads, pipes, and buildings. The city recorded 108 million in beer levy revenue only when the cash physically arrived, rather than when it was earned, which means it's leaking. And then the transparency gap, the city owns properties meant for investment, but didn't list their fair value. So someone needs to plug the gap at Mutare City Council, sort out the financials, increase the revenue by increasing the number of stands, stop the water leakages which are taking place right now, and make sure that things are working. And the guys in health don't charge an amount which will make the women go and give birth under a tree. So that is what they're doing right now. Women in Mutare are not going to the clinics because it's too expensive. Make sure that you advertise those services so that people know they are available, and then your city will function. And you get support from people who love you a lot. There's people who love and give goodwill for the city of Mutare. Make sure that you continue the work that you're doing, which is much better than many of the other cities, and market your services to the citizens. Light up the streets, give people land. Don't sit there and just bank the land. Why are you banking 42 billion of land when people are homeless? So this is what I have to say about the city of Mutare. I hope that has been useful. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I'll see you again tonight as we look at what is happening in Africa at 10 minutes past 9. And a good day to you all. I'm just trying to see if there's anything I forgot here. But I think everything's done. Thank you very much. I'll see you later.